Hi, my name is Boo Walker, a novelist living in Maine in the United States, and I have a new book coming out, and I wanted to do another reading. It's called An Echo in Time, and it hits shelves August 20th. It's about a young woman named Charlie in Boston who just cannot catch a break. Her whole life is red lights, and she's damn near close to giving up when she hears about something called family constellation therapy. And she ends up going to Costa Rica and sitting in on this therapy session with this spiritual guru named Francis, who guides her and several others in what it could almost be compared to a seance, where they tap into past lives in their family trees. And what she finds blows the doors off her life, and she ends up in a pursuit to England to track down what could have happened in her family tree to have created such misfortune in her life, her mother's life, her grandparents' life. It's truly a family tree that's been struggling for decades and generations. So I'm going to read you a little passage from this family constellation where Charlie is sitting in this room with several others, and Francis, the spiritual guru, is the guiding the constellation. What does a fairy tale life mean to you? Francis asks. Charlie actually laughs because she knows exactly what it means. Oh, I can answer that one. Green lights. The opposite of my life, basically. What kind of green lights? Charlie latches on to the hope she's feeling. Green lights in everything: business, life, love. I have friends who are getting married and having these big splashy weddings and talking about babies. Other friends who are becoming leaders in their field. I'm floating on top of the water like a dead fish. Tears gather like dark clouds. It's more than what my friends are doing there. I don't mean to sound superficial. I mean, I am annoyed by all of them, but it's deeper than that. Charlie feels into what's going on inside, putting all her focus on it like Francis instructed. It's not easy describing the essence of what I'm feeling. No, it's not. But I don't think that I deserve any more than what I'm getting out of life. Sometimes I feel like, no, most of the time I feel like I deserve to be punished, that I've done something wrong. Suddenly Charlie is the size of an insect in her mind, and she's squirming on the floor, and a big foot is coming down on her, and then squash. God or whoever else is out there wasted a body on me. Charlie's eyes are on her shoes as it's too hard to look up. She's never been so honest in her life. The sunken feeling doesn't go away, but there's still that hope, like somehow this thing they're doing could make a difference. If not, then like she told them, what's the point anymore? You're very brave coming in here and opening up, Francis says. Not everyone can do that. She pauses thoughtfully. Do you know of anyone in your family history who had misfortunes, who experienced red lights in their life, particularly in terms of love, family, and work? Once again, Charlie finds humor in Francis's questions. I don't know anyone who doesn't have red lights in my family, at least on my mother's side. My mother and her several failed marriages, her father dying by suicide, her mother wasting away afterward, my brother dying when he was only 4 days old, which is a lot of what made my mother the way she is. My father and how my mother destroyed the big ball of energy that he used to be. Charlie falls into a trance. Her lips are moving. She's giving answers, but she's not working to give them. Something in this room, something about Francis. She's cracking open the wounds and letting the poison ooze out. She can't believe she hears herself add, and as far as me, I grew up being emotionally and verbally abused by my mother. I hid it from everybody, my dad, my best friend. That must have been a heavy burden, Francis says. Yeah. Charlie feels as if she's going to be in trouble for ratting her mother out to these strangers. She would threaten me, though. I didn't have a choice. The heavy thud of the hammer crashing into one of Charlie's dolls shakes her insides. She closes her eyes to hide from her mother's rage, but the memory comes at her like a rabid dog. Her dad was somewhere in Asia. He was gone so much, Charlie couldn't keep up. She was 10 years old, about a year after her mother lost the baby. It was a morning before school. Her mom was running around talking to herself while subsequently shouting out the morning to-do list. You need to make your snack, Charlie. Sure, you could do something other than play with your fucking dolls. You're 10 years old, for God's sake. What girl plays with dolls when they're 10? The answer to her mother's question was Charlie. Charlie played with dolls when she was 10. Like books, dolls were an escape, a way for her to disappear into an imaginary world where her mother couldn't get her. Brush your teeth, get your backpack by the door, and go change out of those awful sweatpants. Whose daughter are you? Like now, Charlie would close her eyes and wish away all that anger. She was dressing one of her American Girl dolls in a ballerina costume when she saw her mother coming at her from the corner of her eye. Charlie raised her arm to protect herself, but Georgina simply swiped the doll from her hands. As she collected the other 3 dolls on the table, her mother screamed, "What did I tell you? Stop playing with your damn dolls. I told you I'd throw them away." "No, Mommy, don't throw them away." "Forget throwing them away," Georgina hissed as she reached into the drawer where they kept a few tools. Drawing a hammer out, she waved it at Charlie. "We won't have this problem again, will we?" She marched toward the door that led to the courtyard. "Where are you going?" Charlie ran from her chair to chase her. "Don't hurt my—" "You made me do this." Georgina holds one doll by its legs and brings down the hammer with such anger that she chips the concrete. The ballerina's head turns to dust as specks of plastic fly up into the air. Charlie finally pulls herself from the vivid memory and swallows. There were similar bad moments in her childhood, but it's that one that's buried the deepest, like a splinter that will never come out. That feeling of loneliness is as fresh today as it was back then. When she's finally able, she looks up at Frances. "My dad knew she was awful. She was as bad to him, but he wouldn't leave her. So the 2 people who were supposed to be there for me weren't always there for me." A sigh rises out of her and she skips over a few years. "I finally picked up the pieces and found the courage to open a bookstore, but I lost the lease and—" Charlie looks away. You get the picture. "You're a brave woman, Charlie," Frances says. Someone sitting down starts clapping, then another, then another. An Echo in Time. That's a tough passage. August 20th. We'll see you then.